Is this thing on? All right, cue the music.
I guess you wonder where I've been.
So that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, you're probably wondering where I've been. It's been a little while since I've seen you guys. I've been all over the place and a lot has happened, but I think I owe it to those of you out there who have stuck along thus far to tell you where I've been and what I've been doing. So Supreme fell off, right? I don't think that's any secret to anyone. They made a lot of mistakes, and it's something I'll talk about in a future video here, but for the sake of this conversation, I think it's worth noting that I got tired of it. Still things I like about it, still things I really enjoy about it, still pieces that I really think are great. I do continue to hope that they make the best moves and do things that make sense for the business, but for me, it definitely just felt like they lost their luster a little bit and made a lot of missteps. Now, that left me in a weird place, right? I branded myself as the Supreme guy all over the internet. You see me pulling all sorts of stunts left and right about, Supreme Hot Wheel full size and dropping the Cupid or whatever it was, right? And so when they started to have this downhill trajectory, it was pretty clear to me that I wasn't going to be the Supreme guy forever. But there are things that I like, there are things that I enjoy. You'll see a couple of Supreme pieces behind me still. I think soccer ball right behind my head, which is something I was excited to see finally. Definitely not what they used to be. Hope they get back there, but I saw the writing on the wall as it was happening, and that in conjunction with just getting burnt out on social media in general. The content I was making was very performative. It was very, gotta flex this, gotta get the newest drop, gotta do the newest thing. So was feeling like Supreme was going downhill and just was getting burnt out on the whole social media flex scene and everything that entails. So I took a step away, COVID hit, things were getting weird. It took some time just sort of to reflect and figure out what was going on. And at the time I was working really, really hard. And my girlfriend came to me and she says, "You need a hobby." And I thought, hobby? Well, I know that word. I used to collect sports cards as a kid all the time. That was always referred to as the hobby. And so for the first time in a long time, I actually went online and bought a couple boxes of really expensive trading cards. That definitely lit the spark for something that was already there, which is just my love of collectibles in general. Now, I was interested in the time at getting really into making collectibles content right away, right? Like what happens if I just come out with trading card content and video game content, comics, art, action figures, all of it, right? But some of that felt off too, because while some of those categories were interesting to me, I just didn't really know what I was talking about and wasn't an expert in those things. And so started to dig around and learn and do some research and started talking to people. Eventually got introduced to the people at Golden Auctions, and they tried to get me to come on and run their social media. And I was just like, no, I don't really want to do this. I'm not ready for this. And eventually after saying no for a few months, they finally gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I just sort of realized, hey, look, this is an opportunity for me to use my skill set that I'm really great at, which is just social media in general. And it's also an opportunity for me to really become an expert in some of these different categories, right? Like my first day on the job, I'm holding a T206 Honus Wagner card worth a couple $1 million, right? And I've got, I think I got a PSA 8 mantle on the first day too, and have held millions and millions of dollars of cards and comics and video games, and have been involved in creating content for all those things, and really got to see a sort of under the hood look at the collectibles industry at large. And it was really awesome, and I learned a ton. And was there for a little bit over a year. We took Golden from under, I think, about 50,000 followers total when I got there to over 400,000 when I left a year later, but got to a point where I just decided, hey, I feel comfortable getting back into doing this on my own. I feel like I know enough about the space. I feel like I know enough about all these different categories, cards, comics, video games. I feel like I actually have something to share and say now. And so that's why I left Golden. For me, it was just time for me to get back into creating content on my own. So that's what it's going to be. I'm setting out with the goal of being the most trusted and knowledgeable person in all of collectibles, period. When there's a big $20 million trading card sale or $10 million trading card sale or whatever it is, like this Mickey Mantle that's about to sell and break the all-time record, I want to be the person that goes on CNBC and talks about it afterwards, right? So that's how I'm sort of positioning myself. And this is just sort of an introductory video to tell you, hey, like, this is where I've been, this is what's going on, this is what you can expect next. So that's what it is. The TLDR, I'm back. It's different, but I'm back, and I think it's going to be 100 times better. This is a category, collectibles in general, that I just believe in a ton. I think it's incredibly fun. I think it's an incredible alternative investment vehicle. For those of you that have stuck around this long, people who have already been following me and are coming here for the first time to my new YouTube, I appreciate you a ton. I'm going to make it worth your while, I promise.